Okay. Somebody says, how do you cope with family and career? I think I've mentioned that already. How did you meet your husband? This is an interesting story. I think I've shared it also a few times. My husband, because people see us and think, oh, we've known each other for a long time, we courted for a long time. That's not true. He used to like a girl. I will not mention her name. She used to be a colleague in my old office, HiTV. She used to work there. He liked her very much. He really he really liked her. She was this very yellow girl like this, and she was from the east. I think I've already given up her name. So for those of you that know, they know her. Anyways, so she kept disturbing me in the office. Morayo, and there's a guy that I think you would like. I said, please, auntie, I'm not interested. I said, Morayo, this guy, I think you would like him. Let me give me his number. I said, no, don't give anybody my number. Anyway, so he kept disturbing her that he wants to date her, but she kept telling him that there's a girl in my office I think you should date. He said, I don't want the girl, it's you I want. They kept going back and forth on this for a while. Anyways, but she kept telling him that there's a girl, Morayo Kabashoro, in my office, you would like her. So because this girl that he liked did not answer him, he now went to Facebook and Googled Morayo Kabashoro, checked me on Facebook, and then realized that we had some mutual friends. He called up his friend, who is this person? They told him about me, and then he sent me a friend request, tried to get me to be his friend. I didn't answer him for a while. The friend then called me, auntie, what's your problem? There's a guy that's trying to be your friend on Facebook. Please answer the guy, Jerry. He said, I beg. It took me a while. Eventually, I added him. We started talking. And then we met. Rest is history. I think after a year, we got married. Now, the reason why I wanted to tell that story is that some people think it's until you caught somebody for 3, 4, 5 years. No. When a man is ready, he's ready. You could date for 3 months, 2 months. When a man is at that point where I want to marry, he's ready. My husband was ready. I was ready. I was 30 at the time. I was way ready. I was way past ready. And he was ready, and that was it. Within 1 year, in fact, after a year, we did our introduction, and then rest is history. What's the greatest fear in life? I don't know. Let's call on Mama Rolo. I don't know what my greatest fears are, but just thank God for where we are today. How did you gain clarity on your career path? Interesting question. The truth is that it's a combination of what hurts and spiritual growth. There was a time that I was depressed, I was suicidal. There was a time in this Lagos that I just walked the streets on that's Oroshoki Expressway. I was just walking because I wanted to just commit suicide. I was depressed. I was out of work. I didn't have a job. I was just frustrated. I wasn't within that. I just got back here. I was really frustrated and all that, and things were hard and difficult. I was praying, fasting, asking God, and after lots of prayers, that I would never forget that my heart, my spirit just told me to go to HiTV, and I did not know. I knew that Tony Suga was there, but I did not know like HiTV. At the time, I didn't even know what HiTV was. So I now went to the company HiTV, and I went there. And I told the security guard that I have I have an appointment with the MD. He said, he now asked me to sit at the reception. I'll never forget, Taiwo Lukunle was Tony Subaru's secretary at the time. She came downstairs, said, Auntie, you said you have an appointment with my boss. Sorry, I don't remember your name. I said, Auntie, please sit down. I don't have an appointment. Listen, look at me. I'm looking for a job here. I need a job. All I'm asking you, all I want you to this is my CV, this is it. Just make sure you put it on Tony Subaru's table. Once you can put it on Tony Subaru's table, don't worry, that's all I ask. That's all I want. She looked at me, and because I dressed, I looked like a decent person. I guess she now had compassion. So she now put it on Tony Subaru's table. That day, I had an appointment at Insight Communications. I had an appointment with one guy named, I can't remember, I think something Ajayi too. I think Tolu Ajayi. I can't remember the name of the person. So while the person that was about to interview me at Insight was on the phone, he asked me to wait for a second. While he was answering his phone, Tony Subaru called me. Hello, Morayo. I just saw your CV. You got the job. Start January 10th. That's how I got the job. And that's how my career started. So before I got that HiTV revelation, I prayed, cried, wailed. I was depressed for many years, but God gave me that direction to HiTV, and I got it by God's. God did not allow anybody to take credit, because I tried to reach Tony Subaru so many times. I knew people who knew Tony Subaru. I knew aunties who knew him. I knew people. I would send my CV to them. Uncle, Tony, bro, mini, mini, uncle, mini. I can go bring your CV. Everybody said they gave my CV to Tony Subaru for whatever reason. Tony Subaru never called me. But when God took me to HiTV with his own legs, with himself, by himself, carried me to HiTV, That was when Tony Subaru saw my CV and hired me without seeing my face. That's how God works. That was a divine intervention. And that's how the journey to HiTV started. Sorry, the journey to TVC started, because it was while I was in HiTV, late RDJ, who recently passed on. He saw me in France. I was supposed to attend some kind of presentation with him, Tony Subaru, and a few other people. He saw that I came late. He saw that I was prepared for the presentation. He was just impressed. This Nigerian girl like this behaved like very, very professional. And that's how it is. And Mr. Lemmy too thought I was very professional. So when HiTV went down, they called me and said, "Are you available for content in TVC?" And they called me for the job, and that's how I got TVC job. And when I was being interviewed for TVC by Nigel and Mr. Lemmy, I said, "Mr. Lemmy, I have a show I want to do. There's a TV show I've been wanting to do." He said, "Oh, no problem, you can do it when you come on HiTV." Because I was the deputy director of programs, he allowed me to go ahead and do my show. So that was just pretty much it. Now, this show, I've had it in my mind for many years. I won't tell Tony Subaru. I told you, "I beg, Morayo, go and sit down somewhere. It's kind of TV show. I beg, go and focus on your work, you know." He used to laugh at me, that TV show, but leave that one. But I always had it in my heart. So when TVC hired me, I started the show, and that's pretty much how that started. Okay, let me move very quickly. Who encouraged you to go back to Nigeria? I promised my father that I would always go back to Nigeria. I promised my father that, because my brothers had left Nigeria for many years. They didn't come back, and they were living in UK for a long time. Then they moved to the US, and it was just me. I was the only child in the house, my mother's house, for a long time. So when I was going to America, my father made me promise that I would come back, and that was just me fulfilling his promise. How did you meet Mr. Brown? I think I talked about that already. And is your last name Kabiti? My last name is not Kabitio. Neither is it Brown. My last name is Afolabi-Brown. Who is your role model? The role models change per time. When I was younger, my role model was Abikadabiri Erewa. When I was growing up, I idolized her. I just thought she was everything I wanted to be. But as I'm growing older, I'm seeing more women that I love and admire. People like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is somebody I love to go to her page every time. It's somebody like Mbukwa Woshika. I admire this from afar. Someone like Funke Adejumwa, this pastor Funke Adejumwa. These are people I admire from afar, So those are the kind of people I look at, and I try to want to be like in future. Okay. How do you bond with your kids with your busy schedule? I think I mentioned it, because I try to make sure my work is at close proximity to my house, so I'm home as often as I can. Let me find it. What advice would you give to young people looking for a promising career? Career-wise, I think, listen, start early. You see, that as much as we want to call this a cliche, prayer is important. I used to pray. I might be looking as if I'm all TVC, but trust me, there was a time for prayer. That inner closet, prayer is important. Knowing the problem you want to solve, knowing that, because people tell you, what's that thing you're passionate about? I say, what's that thing you hate? Well, for me, passion is good, but find that thing that makes you cry about life. What's that thing that angers you? Then think about how you can solve that problem, be the solution to that problem. I felt one of the things that used to hurt me was that I just felt like Nigeria, we were so the culture we have, the mindset, the thinking of the Nigerian person was so warped in many ways. And I felt that when we speak and share our own stories, people see options. People see, okay, Morayo thinks that way. Okay, Tokwe thinks that way. Okay, Mariam thinks that way. Oh, BC, okay, I follow BC. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do the show, where you can have different women share their thoughts and share their views. So think of that thing that hurts you and find a way to be a solution provider. It doesn't always have to be being on television, because everybody wants to be on TV now, which I thank God for the opportunity. I never even knew that it was a big deal. But now everybody wants to be on TV. That's fine. But thank God for social media. You can start from your own IG lives. Gradually you start meeting people, and by the time you know it, you have your own following, because you have a message you want to pass. How long did you experience failure, and what did you learn through those experiences? I think I've talked about failure. I've failed quite a few times, and I think I've shared that with you. Is Brown your hobbies synonym? No, I've already talked about that. What keeps you going when you sometimes don't feel the vibe in your marriage? Marriage, you see, this thing called marriage, let me spend a bit of time with it. For my husband, my husband likes to conversation. He has conversation. He likes to talk. So Me, I'm not the talky type. I like to, I'm the kind of person that just likes to make sure everything is sorted, that we're all well cared for, I'm a service person. But he is the talking person. So that combination, I like to ensure that we're sorted. He likes to ensure that we have things to talk about. So it's very interesting to hear him share his views, his life thoughts, and that's why I wanted to bring him on at the other Grandfather's Day, because I've heard him speak, and I know this guy has a lot of wisdom. So keeping my marriage interesting is also talking about life, sharing knowledge with each other. We just talk about everything. We talk about everything, and it has been helping us. How do you get to? Trying to see a question we're not taking. What drives you to be successful, and who are your mentors? Do you have any advice for a young woman looking to start a talk show? Okay, I get this question a lot. You see, listen, and in fact, interestingly, somebody asked me recently that she wanted to start a talk show. I would never stop anybody from starting a talk show. There are many talk shows out there. In fact, the more talk shows we have, the better, because people must speak, especially women. We must share our views. But please, start a talk show for the right reasons. Not because you want to become a celebrity or people should know you. Make sure you have once you have the right reason, no matter how long it takes, you'll be successful. So find that reason. Why do I want to talk? Is it that I have knowledge? Or is it I want to bring people who have knowledge together? What are they going to say that is not being said already out there? Because we are almost all just repeating the same thing over and over again. So there's got to be a reason. There's got to be something you're doing differently. So if you're going to have a talk show with an impact, with something that you're bringing to the table, and that will stand you out from all the plethora of people out there. I'm 24. I'm very passionate about having a career in media. How do I go? So as I said earlier, find out why do I want to get into media? What do I want to do? What's the problem in this world I like to solve? Is your issue environmental focus? Is your issue about family? Is your issue about career for young people? Have a focus. So if you're going to have a talk show, let your talk show be around that focus, because there's so many people talking out there. Yours have to stand you out. So think of exactly what your message is, and then start it. You don't need a TV station anymore. We are all on live. We are all live now. Start yours, and you'll be surprised. As a mother, how do you balance family work? Do you have time for your kids? I do try to create time for my children. I leave my work. I come home. Because I've been in school lately, I've been difficult to have time for them. But I have a bureau in the house who helps me to close the gap in things of homework. But whenever she's not around, or whenever school is not in session, I'm there with the kids. I'm available. I'm present. Have you had the reason to catch your husband cheating? If yes, how did you handle it? Well, I have never had an opportunity to see my husband cheating, at least as of today. By God's grace and mercy, it will not be my portion. But when God forbid that breach comes, see, listen, this life is not difficult. My prayer is that I would never go through that. And no woman wants to go through a situation whereby your husband is cheating on you. But I think as you build your marriage and as you build your relationship, it becomes so strong that when certain things happen in life, you are able to deal with it. You don't see it from that angle of he hurt me. It's not like, how do we hurt each other? How do we fix us? Not just you against me. It's not a thing of our thing has been punctured. How do we fix our thing? So that's how I see it now. How did you meet your husband? I think I talked about it already. As a journalist, you have to maintain balance, but I want to know your own stand on feminism. Feminism, okay, I think I've said it a few times. Feminism for me is a woman being treated equally wherever she finds herself. Equally at work, equally in society, equally in every strata of life. In the home, however, we are equal because we are both human beings. But God has not said that man is equal to a wife, is equal to husband. Man is equal to a woman, I agree. Husband and wife are not equal, because husband actually is the final overseer in the house. He's the head. He's the one that God has said to lead. In every group, in every organization, there's a leader. So husband is not equal to wife, but man is equal to woman. male is equal to female. But in the husband, in the house, your husband he's not, I wouldn't say he's superior, but both of you are, you have equal standing as husband, as man and wife, as man and woman. But in the hierarchy of whose decision are we going to finally go with, if things go to that point where we have to decide, usually you let the husband go, because hey, he's the head, he has driving us this way. If like drive us over the cliff, now you're wala, you're the one driving this ship. But the thing is that in the home, for us to have sanity and peace of mind, it's always important to have where one person leads, and that's the husband. In a home where you're a single mother, you lead the pack. But when you have a man in your life, it's important you let him lead. And when you let this man lead, trust me, life is just so easy. Oh my goodness. If you let them have that thing they call ego, oh, in fact, just give them that ego. In fact, they are the simplest people to understand. Once you understand that man's ego, what is important to him. If your own husband, all he wants now food, make sure there's food 24/7. Trust me, you're alright. Just find that thing that is your own. Me, I know my own. I don't have to share it with you, but I know my own. Know your own, the one that is in your house. What is that thing? What is that thing? And if you find it, by God's grace and mercy, and if you don't know what it is, prayerfully ask God. You will be surprised. God will tell you. So if you find it, just stick to it and just mind your own. You'll be surprised. You just become like you be the one in charge. Anyway, they tell us we think it's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's real. Trust me. My name is from Borno State. I'm a big fan of yours. When do you know when a man is? She didn't finish that. But I think when do you know when the man is right? For me, how did I meet my husband? Because people have been asking me that question, like, how did you just get it right? I don't know if I got it right, but the thing is that this is how it happened. When I was a young single girl, this is what I did. Now, you don't have to follow my own principles. Everybody is different. You cannot use my own technique in your own life. This is what I did that was different. As a young lady, I had a list, and that is the truth. I had a list of who I wanted to marry. He had to be tall, dark, and handsome. The average woman wants that. I didn't get that. Tall, dark, I wanted that. I wanted somebody that was from a nuclear family, and I wrote it down. It wasn't in my head. I wrote it, pencil and paper. I wrote it down. In fact, my younger brother is in my room now in Bagada. If he searches that room very well, I'm sure he'll find that booklet. I wrote it. Number one, he had to be. What was the first I said? So I wanted somebody that was tall, dark, and handsome. Secondly, I wanted somebody from a nuclear family, because I was coming from a polygamous family, and I know the drama in polygamy. I did not want that. I was very clear. Number two, I wanted somebody that was born and raised in OAU. How did I know about OAU? I was coming from the US. I have no idea what OAU was. But I had a friend in church, in Christ Church. Her name was Ronke Sonwo. I can't remember her new name now. Ronke Sonwo was myself, and I think it was Biodu Adenuga, Bimbo Adenuga. A few of us sat down together. We just gisting as single ladies. And she was just saying it in passing. All those, I heard that all those OAU boys, all those boys, the Potters boys, they're very responsible. They're very responsible. They are so in my mind, Potters boys, really? They were born in OAU. Yeah, so I heard that they're very responsible. So we're just gisting. I just had that one. Nah, I don't know what Potters boy is. I did not know what living on campus was. I just wrote it down. Number three, Father, let him be born and raised in OAU. Number four, let him be God-fearing. Number five, let him be a professional. Let him be a graduate. Let him be a professional. I wanted somebody that had a professional work. In fact, I had a list. And I'll carry my prayer, my booklet. I'll use it to pray to God. Father, this is my husband. And I also say, Father, make him rich. Very, 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 very rich. I wrote it there. That rich one, that part, God is still working on it. But I wrote it there. It was on the list. So my husband checked practically everything except for the tall dark. He was not dark, he was fair skin. But he was handsome, quite all right. I checked it. Nuclear family, checked. Professional lawyer, checked. Graduate, checked. OAU, checked. In fact, the moment he told me he was from OAU, I said, Holy, I just looked at Holy Spirit. You are so amazing. You know? So when I met my husband, I was like, when he announced me, I was born in and caught this boy OAU, and I'm thinking, we are low, come on, prayer point to me. Okay, no worries, I'm very good. I just wrote it down. So I was just like, Father Lord, you're just amazing. But everything was perfect. So when I now went to my mom, and I told my mom, Mommy, what you could? It's not dark skin. Mommy, yeah. The dream I had last night, God told me that your husband was fair skin. Mommy, yeah, when did you start that one? You never told me that one. Mommy, no, don't mulala, for me. We are quite cook, mommy. Eh, so if me tell you, don't tell me that one. You didn't tell me that one before. No, I said, okay, I get your point. But bottom line is that, yeah, so it was on those bases I decided to talk to my husband. And yeah, it was